On November 8th, the aquatic chamber was at a temperature of 22.2 degrees Celsius with a pH of 6. The salinity was 47 parts per million and the chamber's DO level was 3.5 ppm. In the terrestrial chamber, there was a temperature of 20.5 degrees Celsius and a pH level of 6.9. This is the day organisms were added to the eco column and they were alive and healthy.
On November 12th, the aquatic chamber dropped in temperature to 21.1 degrees Celsius, and the pH level rose to 6.1. The salinity remained the same. There was a DO level of 3 ppm. Our terrestrial chamber rose to a temperature of 21.6 degrees Celsius and had a pH of 6.9 again. The drop in DO was due to excess fish and snails.
On November 15th, the aquatic chamber was at a temperature of 21 degrees Celsius and a pH of 6.7. The salinity was at 47 parts per million and the DO level was 2.7. Our terrestrial chamber on the 15th had a temperature of 21.1 degrees Celsius and a pH of 6.2. DO continued to decrease as aquatic chambers continued to respire. Excess fecal matter caused the water to begin browning.
On the 18th, the temperature dropped to 18 degrees Celsius. The pH remained the same at 6.7, the salinity remained the same at 47 parts per million, and the DO level decreased to 1.7 parts per million. This is when the first fish died due to too much phosphorus, nitrogen, and potassium. Plants continued to wilt and the DO dropped below 2 parts per million, which was the likely cause of death for the first fish.
On November 22nd, the temperature rose again to 20 degrees Celsius. The pH remained relatively the same at 6.1. The salinity remained the same at 47 ppm. The DO remained the same at 1.7 ppm. The second fish died due to the lowering DO level in addition to the previous drop of temperature.
On November 26th, the temperature didn't change at 20 degrees Celsius. The pH decreased to 5.94. The salinity remained the same at 47 parts per million, and the DO dropped to 1.6 parts per million. Water began to brown significantly due to the organisms dying and releasing fecal matter.
On December 2nd, the temperature had a significant drop by 4 degrees Celsius to 16.2 degrees Celsius. The pH rose to 7 parts per million, the salinity had a significant drop to 40 parts per million, and the DO increased to 2.2 parts per million. The temperature dropped over the break significantly. The DO increased because the organisms died, causing more photosynthesis than cellular respiration, and the animals released ammonia when they died, which caused the pH to increase.
On December 4th, our aquatic chamber had a temperature of 19 degrees Celsius and a pH of 5.4. The salinity was at 47 ppm and it had a DO level of 1.4 ppm. There were no significant changes due to the fact that everything had already died.
From the first day, November 8th, to December 4th, the nitrogen and phosphorus remained the exact same. The turbidity rose from 0 to 5 GTE due to the death of organisms polluting the water. The concentration of potassium, nitrogen, and phosphorus in the terrestrial soil was probably the cause of death for most of the plants in the terrestrial chamber.